what is coding or programming, which they are pretty much the same thing. And you will hear every professional and everybody up and down the ladder using these interchangeably and in the same context. So fight me. They are pretty much the same thing out in the real world. Coding, you could say, is this, or the process of writing this, right? And this would be code, right? And this code is written in a language called Python, and we'll get to languages in a minute, but it essentially does something. So let's say, and you don't have to know coding in order to really know what this does, as there's a comment right here that says what it does, but I'll explain it. Print hello world. It'll say hello world. Print what is your name, which is asking you for your name, and then it will create a box, which that's what this is. It's a box called my name equals input, which is a function, which does something. Now it's taking your input and it's putting it in a box. So next, it's going to print, it is good to meet you. And then it's going to add the box with your name in it to the end of that. And then it's pretty much just going to say, it is good to meet you, your name. The length of your name is print, and then it's going to take the length of your name using a function, which is what this is. The print function prints anything you put inside of it, and then the length function gets the length of anything you put inside of it. And now you know what a function is. Congratulations. You're a level 0 programmer. So this function print right here will say, what is your age, right after that. And then you're going to get another box with using the same input. Now these two things are different boxes because they have different names. And because Python is such an easy language to understand, I can show you this, and there's no variable types because it's inferred. Now we'll get to that in a minute. But at the end it'll say print, you will be, and then add, and then it does two different functions, which this is a little tidbit of what I was talking about where it doesn't have to infer the variable type, but let's just say that this right here is a string, which is pretty much just like writing like normal human text. And then an int is just a number. So it's going to take, because this is text right here, it's just going to convert the text into a number, right, for, the computer. And then it's going to add 1 to it, right, because you can't add 1 to just like a normal text, right? Except for in this example, you're adding strings together at the end of it. But it doesn't work so well when you want to add numbers, right? So if I did, it is good to meet you, plus 1, like, what am I trying to say there? So I want to convert it to a number. And then I add 1. You will be your age plus 1 in a year. So this is just logic. Right here, this is logic. I want to say how old you'll be in a year, so I need to do something. So I need to call more functions, right? Print prints to the console. Length gets a name, and int gets something into a number. And then I can use it to add, subtract, divide, do all sorts of things, and then tell the user something. And that's pretty much what coding is for and what it's about. Creating software, creating video games. I mean, it's exactly what tells you in the video game that you've done something, because code is registering what you've done and it's turning it into an output. That's exactly what this is. Now, languages, like I was talking about before, includes anything anywhere from Python to C#. You may or may not have heard of these. Java, you've heard of that one. C++, Ruby, etc., blah, 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 all of that. Maybe not HTML, but all of these pretty much do the same thing behind the scenes, right? A language is just like any other language. Let's clear this up real quick. So, a language, right? Let's compare this to English, Spanish, etc. So, in English, we say things like hello, how are you, right? In Spanish, we say hola, ¿cómo estás? And it means the same thing, essentially. So we point here and we'll have like a little really badly drawn hand, because I'm not good at drawing, waving. And they both mean the same thing. They both mean this. I can say hello and hola, and it just means it's just a greeting, right? In programming or coding, whatever, let's say I had Python, C#, two different languages, right? These both run on, like, let's say we run on symbols and signs and meanings and whatever we run on behind the scenes that we don't really know. We just know hello and, what it means right here. So these guys run intrinsically, let's just say console, or what is this one? Yes, print. Right. Okay, wait. Don't lose me. Console. This right here is console, I think. Yeah. Console.writeLine. Just something something and then parentheses hello inside of it. Right? This is just print. It's really easy. Python is a really easy language to understand because it's really intuitive. So these both say completely different things. You might be able to infer what they mean because print console.log, right? But they both mean ones and zeros, right? Now this might ring a bell, it might not, but all computers run on ones and zeros. Now, all humans run on this. We just use this to understand and talk. We use our mouth so that we communicate more efficiently than just waving our hands in a bunch of different ways. We can communicate complex ideas by wrapping them up into a box, and that's pretty much what we're doing here. This is a long series of ones and zeros that are wrapped up into a box that just says print, right? And print just calls a bunch of ones and zeros on whatever is in here, which this is called a parameter, but it's pretty much an input to this function. Congrats, welcome to programming. This is also a function, console.log. They pretty much do the same thing. They're not the same bunch of ones and zeros. They work a little bit differently, but they mean the same thing. They do the same thing, essentially.